in here. Well, that's not good. I'm still kind of an analog guy. So there's things you can do. It's good to rely on those kind of things, but you can also have, phone cards, emergency phone cards. Carry my wallet. This has everybody in my office on it. Their cell phone and their home phone number. On the back it has a few emergency numbers. police, the embassy, a couple of hospitals, so forth and so on. Could be your neighbors. Let's say you just live here in Tubemogul. Could be some key neighbors. You have the numbers written on here, right? Maybe at the top I'll say something like, in case of emergency, notify so-and-so. I don't want to pick them. Nobody's here from North Carolina, right? I like to pick on people from North Carolina. Anyway, I'll pick on some folks. But, let's say something happens to you, sir, and grab your, ambulance or medical person, grab your wallet and say, okay. So it's good to have just make a wallet card. You can laminate it. I'd laminate it because sometimes I drop my wallet in the water or whatever. But it's nice to have some sort of card, written thing, so you don't have to rely on these things so much. Rosters, community rosters here in Tubemogul, for example. I know you have a pretty good email roster, an email contact list. Christine, you kind of got that. I don't know if that includes phone numbers or where people live. It's about being a community in case something happens. It's about caring for one another. Short-term residents, people have recently arrived, or people have been here for 1 million years, 128 years. Account for things. What if I'm stuck out? This afternoon I had a little horseback excursion planned for a couple hours. What if something bad happens, or if you're up in Loja and and the road gets blocked and there's an earthquake in Tubemogul? What's your plan then? Your family's back here, you're up there. Kind of think about how you're going to communicate with your family, your wife or husband, friend, whoever. How are you going to communicate? Let's talk about your car a little bit. You're driving up. I was up in Walter's car yesterday, great little 4x4. I'm around in the middle of nowhere driving around, and I've done this myself. Somebody do this. I had a flat tire. My jack taken care of. Do I have some food and water in my car? In Quito, for example, my wife, she likes to wear these kind of high heel things and a skirt, whatever she goes to her visits her friends and all. So, honey, you need to have some sneakers and some jeans and like a sweatshirt in the back of the car. So in case there's an earthquake or something, you're not walking home in those high heels, you're not going to make it. So she put a pair of sneakers in the back of her car. Just a little kit, maybe, just a few items. Make yourself a little more comfortable when you have a flat tire when you come back from Walmart. When you're going out fishing and something happens. Just a little bit of preparedness turns a bad day from being a catastrophic day. It might be a bad day if you have a flat tire and you're out in a snowstorm, rainstorm, right? It's a bad day. But it could be a really bad day if you're not prepared for it. Okay? Who do I call first? I don't know. Call home, make sure your family's taken care of, your neighbor, you're concerned. I live in Florida. I had the neighbor who lived across the street from us was about 92, 93 years old. Partially blind. Every time the power went out, every time there's a major thunderstorm, me and my next door neighbor, we go over and check on him, make sure he's okay. We cared about him. Just my neighbor, right? Just be a good neighbor. Who do I call first? Good question. Depends on the situation, right? Call the authorities. You're going to call the cops down here? They're going to help you? That's the vote. Let's take a vote. Do you think the police down here in the town plaza are really going to help you in an emergency? Witnesses? No? I don't think so. They should. We're going to work on that and I hope we can improve their capability a little bit. But maybe it's a neighbor, right? Call me and tell me, so-and-so's lost. And let's pick on Walter a little bit. Let's pick on Walter. Walter went out fishing. I don't know if I have to fish around. Walter went out fishing, hasn't come back. He was due back at 4 o'clock. It's 7, he hasn't come back. Give me a call. We'll get to work, okay? Depends on the circumstance. If somebody has robbed you, I'm not going to use the word victim. If you've been through an experience where you've been victimized or nothing, but assaulted or robbed, I really want you to shoot me an email or call me. But the end result is we need to report this to the consulate in Guayaquil. Tubemogul falls under the consular district in Guayaquil. We need to get these things reported to the consular office, the American Citizen Services Office in Guayaquil, so they can record this stuff. Are they going to get your stuff back? No. Are they going to? The United States government around the world puts pressure on the host nation governments in this time. Crime is bad in this particular area. What are you going to do about it? First thing, I guess in our case, like Ecuadorian government is going to say, well, what crime? Do you have any statistics? Well, no. John Mason said that the people in Ecuador were being robbed and assaulted. But if we can say no, on the 23rd of January, such and such a family, 24th of January, such and such a family. If we can give a list of these events, facts, that really helps us quite a bit. And we did make a difference a couple years ago. There was a serial rapist, lived on a mountain just above Quito, Pichincha. He was robbing and raping foreign tourists. Finally, after a period of time, 5 embassies, the United States Embassy, Canadian, Swiss, German, British, 5 embassies. We got together, we had a big powwow up over Pichincha with all the local authorities, the mayor, the province of Pichincha, Prefectura, the commanders of police, and we had a big powwow, and the representatives from embassies threatened the government that we're going to send out messages to our countries that Ecuador is not a good place to visit. The Minister of Tourism was there, not good. A week later, the guys, the rapist was behind bars. After a year of this shenanigans going on.
Here too, he has been a rapist for 10 years.
I heard about this guy. But he's gone now, right?
He's on the run. He must do the same he was doing here, somewhere else.
Somewhere else. Right. So we can put pressure on. I have seen what work with our government can kind of put pressure on the local government to do something about particular issues like this. Oh, what happened here? Did I do that? That's my taking a course at Penn State. Tubemogul does affect air traffic though. Between Quito and Loja, Quito and Cuenca can affect air traffic occasionally based on the ash flow. Because if you're looking at Ecuador, volcanoes here, the ash flow typically heads towards the ocean, so it can disrupt air traffic, which may affect Charlie. What happens typically in Quito, for example, in Guayaquil, but you have some guy on the street, just walking by, maybe he's trying to sell things, and he sees a car with some goodies in the front seat. He texts his buddy at the next intersection, here comes a blue Chevrolet with the window open,